So what is the first thing you think about when you're thinking about investing in Mexico? Well, for myself, it was diversity. Right now, with all the different problems in America, in Canada, really all over the world, Mexico is a great option. Cabo San Lucas specifically. It's so easy to get here to basically anywhere in the world now. We have direct flights from New York, from basically every state in America, and it has better weather than California. So you're basically getting California lifestyle at a third of the price. And that, along with the appreciation that we have here, for a lot of people, myself included, investing in Cabo San Lucas is one of the top places in the world to be investing, especially with a very low risk compared to many other countries. Now, here's the thing. Why is it so easy for foreigners to make mistakes? I would say the biggest thing is the fact when people try to do things on their own. When people cheap out, they don't want to pay for a lawyer, they don't want to get a real estate agent, they don't want to use a contract, they do a handshake deal. But these are the things you got to watch out for. You need to do your due diligence on everything. Making sure that the deed is clean, making sure there's no liens on it, making sure that nobody can block your view. There's properties out here that are scam projects, but you do need somebody to guide you in the right direction. Paying too much for property. There's so many agents out there, they're so hungry that they don't care about actually getting the best deal for their clients. They just want to make the deal happen at all costs. They could get whether or not they're overpaying, they don't check the comps. Well, a real agent will work his ass off to get you the best deal possible because he's thinking long term. Not only overpaying, but underutilizing your capital. That means if I have $1 million and I go out and I buy $1 million property and I make a $200,000 profit, I've made a 20% ROI, that's not that great. If I took that same $1 million and I bought 10 properties at $300,000, but I only had to put 33% down. Well, and then I took and I flipped all of those at $100,000 profit each one. Well, now I just made 100% ROI. My bank account is looking a lot prettier. Learning to leverage or finding the right agent that can help you to leverage your funds, this is key. Understanding capital gains, buy-in-side taxes, and how to maximize the actual profit that you put into your pocket. So many guys are out there and they just go and take Joe Schmo lawyer and go ahead and go pay the 25% capital gains when they should be going out and searching for the top lawyers, the top notaria, the top people, the top team that can give you guys the best capital gains and really maximize the money that you're actually taking and putting in your pocket, because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. So if you're out there and you're making any one of these mistakes, this can cost you thousands of dollars. This is the difference between making a small profit and gaining real wealth in driving Lambos, G-Wagons, that Richard Miel. This is the difference in really growing your income, growing your wealth, and making it to that next level. What legal details investors should be aware of before investing in Mexico? Well, number one, there's taxes here, just like there is in every country. So you need to have a good law team, you need to have a good accountant, you need to have a good agent and to maximize your profits. Depending on what kind of property you're thinking about investing in, if you're thinking about doing a development, one thing to consider is getting the permits for that development can take a long time, especially if you don't know the right people. Now, in Mexico, everything can be done if you know the right people. But typically getting permits for a property can take 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years. This can stretch out your build time drastically. I know projects that I wouldn't sell because I knew that the developer didn't have his permits in line. And I'm not gonna sell a property until they've got all their permits. As you guys have always heard, location, location, location. If you can position yourself in a great location, you are always going to have appreciation every single year. On the contrary, if you position your property in a bad location, you can actually lose value. I know guys that bought property on the Sea of Cortez side, and then somebody went and built a house right in front of them. They lost all of their ocean view. They're now looking at the backside of another house. This is not good. This is what we don't want. choosing the right location, especially in Cabo San Lucas, where view is everything. Everybody comes here. What do they want? They want a view of the ocean. They want a view of the ark. They want a view of the whales. If you have a community, for example, like Caboone, that has a view from many of the common amenities, well, then you can get away with it. I've sold many properties here that don't have great views, but just a few minutes away, you can walk to one of the main pools and you have an excellent view from there. Again, I have two of the exact same properties. They're no different. In fact, one is in worse shape than the other one. The one with no view just sold for $915,000, and the one with a view, $1.5 million. No difference in the properties, the exact same property. We're talking about a difference of 50 to 60% in your ROI, in your profit. So make sure when you are choosing correctly. For example, in condos, what do you guys think is typically the worst level to be in? What is the worst level? The level you do not want to be in. If it's a 6 levels, you want to be in second level. Why is second level the worst? Well, because you're not ground level. Ground level is nice because it's great for old people. It's great for people who have animals, kids, things like this. Everybody wants to be at the penthouse. The penthouse is always the best. Well, everything in the middle, okay, it's just in the middle. Level 2, on the other hand, you're typically getting a lot of roof line from other properties. You don't have the great view like you do from the other levels. And you got trees that are growing up in front of your view. It's not the best. So that's why in almost every development, you'll see that level 2 is usually the cheapest. Now, where do we not want to be? Loud places, typically. We don't want to be right next to the freeway. We don't want to be next to the railroad tracks. We don't want to be next to the bus stop. Where you want to be is you want to be in the best community that you can, and you want to find the least expensive property inside that community. So for example, if you have a community that's full of $1 million properties and the comps are right around $1 million, and you find a house for $600,000, that's probably a damn good deal, because all you have to do now is make your property look like the other properties. And in Cabo, that's very easy to do because labor here is very cheap, and now your $600 house is now $1 million. That's how you find good deals, really anywhere in the world. Mexico is a lot different than America. So in America, when you want to get a loan, you have to have good credit, you need to have good debt to income, you have a credit score, you have a very small down payment. Typically people are putting down as little as 0% down, 5%, 10%, 20% down. In Mexico, this is what we call a cash market. That means most people who buy here are buying with cash. Now, if you need financing on a property, if you have to get financed, if you're not rich like myself, you can do it a couple of ways. Number one, the best way to do it is to get a HELOC on a previous property that you have back in the States. A HELOC or a HELoan, pull out equity from a property that you already have. So let's say, for example, you own a $1 million house back in the States, but you have $500 in equity. Typically, they'll let you pull out, let's say, 80% on that. So you should be able to pull out $400,000. You can take that $400,000 in cash, and you can spend it however the heck you want. You know, strip club and just ball out if you want. Or choice 2, you come buy a property in Mexico. Now, there are a few developments in Cabo San Lucas that actually offer financing. Caboone is one of them. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually buy a Coronado, more than $3.5 million house with 10% down. So $350,000, and you can get into that property. And you need to pay the 50% over the course of the build. You can set it for 18 months. They could push it out to 2 years. And then after the 50%, after that, when you get the keys, when you move in, they offer 10-year financing right around 8.5%. They're moving that around sometimes. One of the only developers that does that, and I actually know of another developer. Give your boy a call and I can tell you all about it. As of 2025, we actually just raised, unfortunately, the acquisition tax. It was at 2% and now it's at 3%. If you buy $1 million house, just on the acquisition tax, you're going to be paying $30,000. Plus, there are going to be some other title fees and things like that that are included in the property. But we're going to be upwards of $40,000, $45,000, $50,000. In American standards, this is pretty high. However, on your property taxes that you're paying every year, we are extremely lower. So for example, on $1 million property, wherein, let's say, for example, Maine or something like that, where you would be paying $30,000 a year, you're going to be paying about $800, $1,000. you have a one-time kind of hire fee, but in the long term, you are saving tons and tons and tons. So one of the reasons that I am so successful and why I'm such a great listing agent is because we go above and beyond to help our clients to maximize profits. That means keep as much money as you can in your pocket. And that means saving on both the buying side taxes and on the capital gain side taxes. For example, if we are purchasing a property and that property has a fideicomiso on it, which lasts 50 years, but it's only been used 2 or 3 years, there's no reason to extinguish the old fideicomiso and purchase another one for $1,500 when we could just have that one transferred over. It's only been used 2 years. We can save money there. If we are purchasing a property and we are thinking to flip it, we should be negotiating with that developer and we should be negotiating a 0% transfer of rights fee. Obviously, at Caboone, we have a guy for everything. That's why we are the Caboone Real Estate Mafia. And our common goal is to help people get the best deals on their houses, to gain money, to maximize profits. Property managers are a lot like real estate agents. There are a lot of them, but not a lot of great ones. Do not just ask your best buddy or whoever who they think is good. Ask and interview 6 or 7 different people. Take your time in this because this is going to make or break you. If you hire the wrong property manager, it's going to mess everything up. I know people that have crappy properties, but good property managers who make a killing. So do your due diligence and find the right property manager. So maximizing your profitability if you're in a cookie cutter style community. For example, all the properties are pretty similar. Well, then you need to do a few things to make yours stand out. One being interior design. If you have an awesome interior design, if your photos are better, if you have some extras, for example, yours has a jacuzzi, yours has a putting green, yours has a golf simulator, yours comes with a golf cart, for example. All these little extras are gonna make yours the top. You're the one that's gonna be rented 80, 90% of the time, and everybody else is gonna be, man, the market sucks. No, you suck. Thanks for watching this guide on investing in properties here in Mexico. If you're ready to start making profitable investments, reach out to Caboone for support. Don't forget to subscribe and like for more real estate tips and advice. Subscribe, like.